Morning, my name is Kat Miller, and we'd like to welcome you to Open Circle this morning. Please turn off your cell phones, and yeah, you're on your own. Okay. Good morning. I think you're going to need to go to the gazebo or split up. Today's Open Circle mission statement is going to be read by Margaret. This Margaret. There's so many Margarets.
Yes. Okay. Open Circle provides a supportive environment to gather for social interaction and to improve our understanding of ourselves, our community, and our world. Presentations span a wide range of intellectual, cultural, physical, and spiritual topics. We do not necessarily agree with the ideas and philosophies of our presenters. We encourage you to listen with an open mind and form your own opinions.
Thank you, Margaret. We're always looking for presenters for Open Circle, and if you'd like to present or know somebody, you can't hear me. Okay, I'm going to move it a little bit towards my mouth. Yeah, he just doesn't want me to poof. No poofing. If you would like to be a presenter, know somebody that would, talk to Margaret Van Every. She's right here. Or David Bryan, he's back on the tech desk. We're scheduled way out, so people come up and say, I'd love to present in the next few weeks, it'd be great. Well, that can't happen. Luckily, we have so many wise and wonderful people to share with us. If you're not on our email sign-up list and would like to do so, you can do so under the tree. There's a clipboard. You can also go onto our fabulous website, opencircleajijic.org, and you can sign up there. While you're there, you can also check out kind of what's coming up, what's gone. You can see photos. You can sort of see the history of us, and you can also go to a portion of the website that will let you know how to go look at videos and download your own videos from the talks over the years. Or you can go directly to chapaladrone for that, YouTube chapaladrone, to see our videos. We'd like to welcome those of you here for the first time. If you're here for the first time, would you please stand up? Come on. Woo, 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 woo. Lovely to have you here. I know we're at a full house today, but we have the capacity to bring out more chairs. So please do remind people that Open Circle exists. We love it when we have full houses. So, if you have a neighbor that's just moved in or something, this is a great way for people to be in community and to meet a bunch of different folks. A 5-year-old girl goes to the hospital with her mother to visit her grandfather. When they get to the hospital, she runs ahead of her mother and bursts into her grandpa's room. "Grandpa, Grandpa," she says excitedly, "as soon as my mother comes into the room, talk like a frog." "Well, okay, dear, but why?" replied her grandpa. "Talk like a frog because Mommy said as soon as you croak, we're all going to Disney World." Hey, children. This one is for my continuing, I'm trying to put down women, and so here we go. A wife got so mad at her husband, she packed his bags and told him to get out. As he walked to the door, she yelled, "I hope you die a long, slow, painful death." He turned around and said, "So you want me to stay?" A new priest at his first Mass was so nervous he could hardly speak. After Mass, he asked the Monsignor how he had done. The Monsignor replied, "When I'm worried about getting nervous on the pulpit, I put a glass of vodka next to the water glass. If I start to get nervous, I take a sip." So the next Sunday, he took the Monsignor's advice. At the beginning of the service, he got nervous and took a drink. He proceeded to talk up a storm. Upon returning to his office, he found the following note on his door. Number 1, sip the vodka, don't gulp. Number 2, there are 10 commandments, not 12. Number 3, there are 12 disciples, not 10. Number 4, Jesus was consecrated, not constipated. Number 5, Jacob wagered his donkey. He did not bet his ass. 6, we do not refer to Jesus Christ as the late J.C. 7, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost are not referred to as Daddy, Junior, and Spook. Number 8, David slew Goliath. He did not kick the shit out of him. 9, when David was hit by a rock and knocked off his donkey, don't say he was stoned off his ass. Number 10, we do not refer to the cross as the big T. Number 11, when Jesus broke the bread at the Last Supper, he said, take this and eat it, for it is my body. He did not say, eat me. The Virgin Mary is, all you Catholics really like laugh, huh? The Virgin Mary is not referred to as Mary with the cherry. Recommended grace before a meal is not rub-a-dub-a-dub, thanks for the grub, yay God. 14, next Sunday there will be a taffy pulling contest at St. Peter's, not a Peter pulling contest at St. Taffy's. Words of wisdom for today. Oh, to be 75 again, Edna Lachane said at age 90. Right on, sister. Next week's presentation, the half-open door. This is a change. If you already know the schedule, this is a new, we've moved something around. We've brought David a week forward. So, the half-open door presented by David Bryan. The deepening conflicts and chaos that are dividing our culture may not be signals of impending catastrophe, but signs of an approaching paradigm shift. Humans have always lived in the tension between the stability of the known and the evolutionary demands of human consciousness. It takes time for individuals and cultures to accommodate the influx of ideas that drive us forward. Emily Dickinson said, "The truth dazzles gradually, or else the world would be blind." How shall we decide whether to open or close the door when we are pulled to preserve and to advance? David will present a model of how to live with the unavoidable paradoxes that arise when change and traditional values collide. David was a psychotherapist and motorcycle safety instructor before retiring to Ajijic 9 years ago, and he is a motorcyclist, woodworker, poet, writer, and Open Circles coordinator. He promised us think. Something going on, huh? I'm getting some reverb. Is there anything to do about it? Today's centering moment is by Patricia Guy, is led by Patricia Guy.
Good morning. Here we are at the end of December, and some of us who like to center or meditate a lot notice in December when our houses are cold, one of the challenges is sitting still when it's cold. So I'm going to give you two choices today. You can either stay seated or you can stand. This can be a standing meditation. All right. Anybody who would like to stand, you can stand. Okay. You don't have to. So in this meditation, we want to generate a little heat. We want to get a little warmth because when we're cold, our bodies tend to contract. And when we're contracted, we don't listen well. Our circulation doesn't work as well, and our breath is not oxygenating our body well. So what we want to do is let's close our eyes, and we'll take 3 deep breaths to engage the diaphragm, where the vagus nerve connects to our sympathetic nervous system. Take 3 deep breaths. And release. Breathe in. And release. Breathe in and release. Now we're going to alternate right side and left side of the body. We're going to start by scrunching our toes on the right foot and release. Scrunch the toes on the left foot and release. Right calf muscles, left calf muscles, right thigh, left thigh, abdomen, contract the abdomen and then release. Now you can take the upper part of your right arm and squish it against your body and tighten and release. Upper left arm, squish against the body and release. Right hand, tighten and release. Left hand, tighten and release. Shoulders up to the ears, tighten and release. Pull the head back until it tightens the neck and release. And now we're going to place our attention to our center of our chest. And as we breathe, imagine warmth is filling our entire chest. And as we release, feel that warmth come out as breath. Now we're going to allow that warmth to expand to the abdomen. Breathe in and release. Allow that heat to rise up to the head. Breathe in, release. Allow it to fill the arms and the legs and the fingers and the hands. Now that heat from your body, let it fill the space about 2 inches out from your body, a complete egg of warmth all around your body. Now allow it to go out to about 2 feet, and it might merge with your neighbors at this point. Now to the level of the canopy of these trees. And now the whole bowl of this valley that includes this lake. And now we bring it back home from the valley to the trees to about 2 feet out, 2 inches outside the body. And now back to your heart. And take a moment with your heart. And when you're ready, open your eyes and be ready to receive this good day. Thank you.
Thank you. This week's presentation, The High Cost of Doing Nothing, presented by David Pisarra. Doing nothing, killing time, chilling out. It all sounds so relaxing, but it comes with a price. Each week, we can take small steps to accomplish our goals. In this inspirational talk, the lesson of regular progress is reinforced. David is an international speaker who travels the world to motivate the meek, inspire the idle, and empower the fearful. And as I said last week, good luck. Welcome. Please join me in welcoming David.
Thank you. We're going to need this at some point. Not vodka. I was a gin guy. It is on, supposedly. How about that? So, Phil, there we go. All righty. It just needed a little warm up. $525,600 minutes. 525,600 moments in a year. That's all we have, people. Each year, 525,600 minutes. What are we going to do with them? Are we going to spend them like so many of us like to do on a chair in front of a television, watching old reruns of Roseanne? Or even this season's Roseanne, for some reason, it's back. I want to encourage you not to do that. Because with only 525,600 minutes in a year, which sounds like a lot, it's really not. A third of that right off the top is gone for sleeping. We probably lose another third just in eating, traffic, traveling, shopping, doing the laundry. So really, what do we have? We have a third of a year to do anything in our life. Now I know most of us are retired and just want to kick back and relax. It's like, I did my 30, 40 years, done my time. I want to enjoy my pension, relax, and enjoy. But are you enjoying? Are you really enjoying? Are you? Or is there a better use of your time? One that would give purpose to your life, one that would share with your family, your community, and being of service. That's what I want you to do. Now, not all the time, obviously. I mean, there's a time and a place for Roseanne. 1985 was good. Let's leave her there. But we have the opportunity in today's world to do so much more with our downtime. Now, I know a lot of people who just want to relax, chill out, chillaxin', just kind of kick back, do nothing. Okay. I'm not saying you got to go out and start a corporation and take over the world. But just sitting there all day? Couldn't you learn something? Couldn't you use the opportunities that are in front of you today, with the technology available today, to learn a skill, to write a book, to tell your story, to leave a message, to share your knowledge? And you only have to do it in little bits. Because here's the thing. We don't have to spend time each day that we used to spend working. We could spend a little amount of time each day and make regular progress on a project. Now, 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, what's that going to add up to? It's not really much. It's, come on, why am I even bothering? It's 20 minutes. What am I going to possibly get done in 20 minutes? Well, let's think about this for a second. If 20 minutes a day, you were to just turn on your phone, do a daily diary, record a story, just one story, that funny story from high school. All you got to do is record it, and you're done. Well, 5 in a week, 20 in a month, 240 in a year. Now you've got a book. Now you've got that book that everybody told you you should be writing. You've got those stories for your grandchildren and your children that they always wanted to hear. Forever. Because from my own perspective, I would love to have that from my mom. When my mom passed away, I kicked myself for not doing the videotaping that I always wanted to do, because there was always going to be time. But there isn't always time. But today, it's so much easier. I mean, we're talking 20 years ago. I needed a giant movie camera, I needed a tripod, I needed microphones and wires and lights. I have a phone. But it's not really a phone. It's really a communication device. We're really living in the future that Star Trek told us about. Remember those communicators in Star Trek? They'd flip it open, and all of a sudden you'd be able to talk to a spaceship. Earlier this week, I'm having my coffee, phone beeps, look down. There's a message from my friend Kelly. Kelly's in Mozambique. It's halfway around the world. She sent me a little text message. Hey, I had a great morning. Just want to say hi. Take a look at what I was doing. And about 2 minutes later, something popped through. Bunch of rhinoceri in a mud pit, just rolling around. She's there with her little camera, just doing this. What an amazing world we live in. She can photograph something halfway around the world, and 2 minutes later, I'm watching it in Mexico. We have technologies that allow us to share our message, to share our meaning, to give purpose to our life. It doesn't take a lot. All it takes is a little bit of daily effort to accomplish great things, which still gives you lots of time to go watch Roseanne and Aaron Burr and whatever else it is going on the television. But what the value of those moments are, that the people in our lives are priceless. That's why I'm saying, don't just do nothing. Because whatever it is you have to share with the world, you should share. And in today's world, you can share. Don't just chillax. Enjoy. Have some fun. Little things lead to big things. It was 2002, so 16 years ago. I'm in my office. Second year in my office, there's a knock at the door. Hello? Hi, my name's William Patnash. I'm a salesman for the Santa Monica Daily Press. We'd like to have you come advertise in our newspaper. No. I don't want to advertise in your newspaper. I want to write for your newspaper. Oh, I can't help you with that. You got to talk to the editor. Her name's Carolyn. So I send Carolyn an email. Hey, Carolyn, I'd like to write a column for your newspaper. How do I do that? Easy. Send me a couple samples, and we'll see. All right. So I wrote a couple articles up, about 700 words apiece, and then I gave Carolyn a list, 52 topics of what I wanted to talk about for the next year, things I was going to write on. I got an email back. You start Tuesday. So for the last 16 years, I've been writing somewhere around 1,000, 1,200, sometimes 700, sometimes 1,500, call it 1,200 words a week for 16 years. That's almost 1 million words. If somebody had told me, I need you to write 1 million words on something, no way, not possible. Me, I can't do it. It's too big. But when they gave me the opportunity to write 1,000 words a week, and I just kept doing it, I was at 1 million in 16 years. That's the value of doing little things every day. Now, those first columns, I don't really talk about those very much because my writing has evolved. I've gotten so much better, so much quicker. My first columns probably took me 2, 3, maybe 4 hours to write. Now I wake up in the morning, make a pot of coffee, sit down at my computer, start writing gibberish because that's just my method, just to get things flowing. I mean, I literally will write things like, the purple pancake ate the panda, and then I'll start writing. And I'll throw away that first sentence. And before I know it, I've got a whole column done in 30, 40, 50 minutes. You could do the same. You've got the time, you've got the opportunity, you have the technology. The opportunity is for you to carry your message to the world, share it with your family, share what you know, and add meaning to your life versus just watching old reruns of Roseanne. Why is that important at this point? Who cares? What's it mean to anybody? means something. You have family members that care and love you. They want to know your stories. You have an opportunity to be of value, to continue to have purpose. What that means is today becomes more valuable. Today becomes more interesting. You become more interesting. Life becomes sweeter as you have greater relationships. We all know that. We all know the best times in our life have been spent with family and friends. Why wouldn't we want to do everything we can to make those the best possible? So what's going to be a more interesting and valuable conversation? Talking about 20-year-old reruns of Roseanne? Or how to share your newest skill, what you just learned. Maybe enroll a friend and you both learn something new. And learning today is easy, inexpensive, and available 24 hours a day. On YouTube, there are videos on probably anything you can name to learn. I've been doing a lot as I'm transitioning my life from divorce lawyer to hopefully positive force for good in the world. I'm watching videos. I watch a lot of videos on sales training, coaching, business, marketing. But I get burned out on that. I mean, honestly, after an hour of listening to this, okay, I'm done. So I flip over to something that's not quite as heavy. Food wishes. 8-minute videos on how to make various types of food. I could spend an hour watching that stuff. I mean, I've learned how to make dishes that I'm never going to make. They're just not going to happen. But it was a relaxing event, and I did learn a skill. And I don't know if that skill I learned here might factor into something I do over there. Last night I was doing some research on, what are the various options? What can you learn on YouTube? So, of course, there's the obvious stuff. There's languages, there's accounting, there's business, there's woodworking, metalworking, macrame. Anybody from macrame? All right, I got one. I got one too. All right. Whatever it is that you have an interest in that you haven't thought about in 2 years or 20 years, you can learn, you can polish up, you could enjoy. The skills are there. The lessons are there. Now, is that something that's going to make your life massively better? I don't know. But it could lead to something. You never know. Maybe you get good at macrame and decide that what you really want to do is start teaching it, and you do a little course at the LCS once a week, bring together 5 friends, bunch of rope, people just kind of kibitz around, making some macrame, have some community. What is it you want to learn that you haven't learned? What is it that you could learn in little bites? It's available to you today on the internet, on YouTube. Now, we're in Mexico. How good's everyone's Spanish? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's hard. It's hard to practice Spanish here. Seriously. I go to the restaurants, I'm like, buenos dias. They're like, hello. They won't let me practice my Spanish because they're practicing their English. But the good news is this. There's opportunities to learn and practice if you seek them out. Last week I was flipping through the El Ojo and I saw there's a Toastmasters Club. I thought, I'm a Toastmaster. Let's go to the Toastmasters Club. It meets right in that room. I think it's Monday night. It's a bilingual club. Half the club was English-speaking primarily, and half the club was Spanish-speaking primarily. It was a wonderful environment to come, spend an hour and a half, not watch NCIS like I normally would be doing, because that's my big TV drug. It's NCIS. I could watch that all day long. It used to be Paula Deen making brownies. But I kind of maxed out on the whole Paula Deen and brownies thing. But I went to the Toastmasters, and what I found was 20 people, 15 people, somewhere around there. Half are learning English, half are learning Spanish. They get up, and I was there luckily on the day that it was all in English, so it made it a little bit easier. But the meeting is held entirely in English, and then the following week it would be entirely in Spanish. What a great way to learn and actually practice a language. It's a loving, open environment that's very supportive, that gives you an opportunity to expand your skill set. It gives you an opportunity to meet other people, to share your knowledge, to share your life experiences, and to bring meaning to what you're doing. I would encourage everyone who wants to practice their Spanish to go to Toastmasters. It's really cheap. I don't know what it is here. I know in the States, my club for 6 months is $90 to learn how to speak. What else are you going to learn in Spanish for a little bit of money? It's a great place. The reason why I think that's important is I think as we have meaning in our life, as we have purpose, we're doing what we were really put on this earth to do. I don't think I was really put on the earth to spend 20 years fighting over children, Tupperware, and dogs. I've done it. But at the end of the day, was that really fulfilling? No. At the end of the day, what really makes me feel warm is when I'm helping other people, when I'm sharing my knowledge, when I'm working with them, motivating them. That's the stuff that's of value. And you have great opportunities here to do that. You can do it with each other. You can do it with the community at large. So while it's very tempting to just say, I want to relax, chill out, do nothing, what's it costing? What's it costing you in terms of the value and depth of your friendships? What's it costing your friends that they're not learning about you? What's the community cost to you not having a purpose? Purpose is important because it will motivate us to do amazing things, truly amazing things. I have a friend, Robert, and in the last year, Robert decided that he wanted to, he spent his whole life really being quite the endurance athlete. He's always been very active and running and working out. But in the last year, Robert decided he really wanted to push himself. So Robert did the Quest Marathon. Then he did an Ironman, which is a run, swim, run for like a mile marathon. Then he did a little thing in Greece called the 300 Spartan Race. It's from Athens to Sparta in 8 days, 30 miles a day. That's a marathon a day for 8 days. He built up to it. But the purpose of him wanting to do that was they were raising money for vets. So as a consequence, he was really motivated to get it done. Then to really, really push himself to make sure that he really could do things, because he really wanted to know what he was capable of, he did this thing called Kokoro. Kokoro is a 50-hour pre-SEAL training for guys that want to become Navy SEALs. They go to this thing to figure out, are they man enough? Are they strong enough? Do they have the endurance to go do and complete SEAL training? So Robert did that for 50 hours. 3 weeks later, he decided, well, I'm just kind of getting bored, so it's time to do another Ironman. And then about 2 months after that, he decided to really step it up and going to do 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. So imagine that. You run 26.2 miles, hop on a plane, fly to a foreign country. Now you're probably in a different time zone. run 26 miles and then do that again and again and again and again. Pretty impressive guy. Especially when you consider that he's 65 when he does all this. Not doing it all just waking up one morning and doing it. He built up to it. He would practice every day. But because he practiced every day, it gave him the opportunity and the ability to do all that. What could you do? I realize few of us are really wanting to do 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents. But do you have a goal? Do something that motivates you? What gets you up in the morning? Besides the dog. Because we all know the dogs get us up. What's the reason you're getting up in the morning? Because if you have a reason to get up in the morning, you're more likely to get things done, to be more active. The more active you are, the sharper your brain's going to be, the longer your body's going to work the way it's supposed to. It's not easy doing those physical things. I did the Montana AIDS vaccine ride a few years back, and it was 800 or 700 miles over 8 days. So a little over 100 miles a day, ballpark. I had trained about 3 weeks. That's not a lot. That's not enough training. Don't do that. Bad idea. But I had a reason to complete it. See, at the very beginning, I'm standing around with everybody else. There's a couple hundred people around me. And the guy I'd been trying to woo comes up to me and says, I know it's a lot. If you can't do every mile every day, it's okay to get on the bus. Now, does anybody think I was going to get on the bus after that? It was just not going to happen. Because the fragile male ego in me gave me meaning. It gave me a purpose. I wasn't going to let him have that over my head. I want to be able to say I did every single mile, which was not easy, but I found a way to do it. What I found was when I would get to those points where I was really burning out, where my energy was starting to lag, when I didn't have enough in the tank to keep going, I remembered what my goal was. What was my why? Just to get through the next mile. If I could get through the next mile, I could probably do the one after that. But by being able to just chunk it into pieces, I was able to get through each 100 miles a day. Now, there would be moments where I'd be going down the hill and then up the hill and then down the hill, and I would be trying to figure out how I was going to do this. And what I learned was, if I just meditated, if I just kept something repeating in my brain, it would take me off of the pain of what I was in and allow me to keep going. It allowed me to accomplish my goal. So I would say things like the Lord's Prayer. I would just do the Lord's Prayer repeatedly during miles because that gave me enough energy and took my focus off the agony I was in to finish the day. Because I had a bigger purpose that I was living for. That's not a great purpose. My own ego. Which, But what's yours? Do you want to be able to communicate with somebody in Spanish? Do you want to be able to have a purpose in life that gets you out of bed in the morning and gets you going? Just because you're retired, just because you're here doing nothing, chillaxing, doesn't mean you shouldn't do more with your life. I was at dinner the other night, and a gentleman next to me starts chatting, and I said, so what do you do here? He's like, well, I I run. I've got this surf ski thing. I go boating on the lake. Do all these other activities around town. Keep active. I'm like, that's great. That's great. Really active dude. He's got a great story. Really motivational. Really inspirational. You should be sharing that with the world. You should write a book. You should tell people. How do I do that? I don't know how to do that. Do you have a phone? Pulled out his phone. Showed him how to do it right there. You all have value. You're not done. Keep going. Purpose brings value to our life. Set a goal and do little steps to get there. It's easy. I'm setting a goal this year. We're going to do 7,300 sit-ups. It's a lot of sit-ups. But not at 20 a day. 20 a day takes me about a minute and a half. Over 365 days, that's 7,300 sit-ups. Now, I don't know if that's going to make a huge difference in my life. I'm pretty sure it'll help. I know it's not going to hurt. But it's one of those 525,600 minutes a day that I don't want to just waste, that I don't want to just kill. Because as we all know, we don't have forever. We only have a certain amount of time. Maybe this year I'll get to use all 525,600 of my minutes. Maybe not. I don't know. I lost my brother at 42. I'm 52 now. I've got 10 years on him. I lost my dad at 65. My mom at 78. Somewhere between here and there, the game's going to end. Do I want to do that by watching Roseanne? Paula Deen making brownies? Learning something? Helping somebody grow? We can all do more. We can all have a better life. Little things add up to big things. Little moments add up to big moments. It's easy to say, I'm too old, washed up, lost it, didn't make anything. But those of you who were here a couple years ago might remember a woman I talked about named Dow Porchon Lynch. She was 85, fell, broke her hip. Doctor said, it's time for you to stop teaching yoga. She said, screw you. Decided to do her healing. Became a ballroom dancer as part of her rehabilitation. Started dancing with 23-year-old men. Became a world champion ballroom dancer at like 87. Then went on to become a Guinness Book of World Record holder for her ballroom dancing. Continued to teach her yoga. And at 90, was still doing 14 classes a week of teaching yoga. Today she's 99. She's still teaching yoga. She's got workshops planned January, February, and March of next year. I'm pretty certain that because of her activity and her purpose, together is what got her to 99 and keeps her active and going. The goal is for her to keep going until she can't go anymore. She wants to teach all the way to the very end because she's got a message and a purpose. I think all of us should have a message and a purpose. And I'd like to encourage all of you, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, whatever you think you can't do, to think about the fact that a little step today can lead to a step and a half tomorrow, can lead to 2 steps the day after, and before you know it, you've accomplished your goal. So I've told you what my goal is for this year, among all the other ones, is to do 20 sit-ups a day. Not a big one. What's your goal? What are you going to set as a goal for the next 525,600 minutes? I'll see you next year.
If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand. A mic will be brought to you. Stand up, hold the mic close, and ask your question. And questions, anybody? Oh my God, did he he gave all the answers? Okay, over here. In the center? Go ahead and stand up, David will bring you the mic.
Well, you've done it. You've inspired me. Now I'm going to write that book about myself. Boring, but I'll try it.
All right.
Next, but, you've raised I have to ask a question, and the question is, how do I use my phone to do that?
I got this one. What kind of phone do you have? Do you have an iPhone? Okay, so an iPhone. So when you have an iPhone, you can use the Notes app. And when you pull up the keyboard, you might have noticed it but not known what it was. Next to the space bar on the bottom, there's a thing that looks like a little microphone. That's a microphone. You push it, and it'll say talk. You start talking, and it'll start transcribing. Now, it's not always perfect, but it's 95%, depending on how good your English is in the room. I'm going to say you can get some really great results. And you can do that in Notes, and then once you've got your notes, you can compile those into chapters. You can also use a program called Voice Record Pro, which will just do an audio file, which you could then, if you wanted, you could send up to an artificial intelligence company called Temi, and they'll transcribe it. But the easy way to get started, use the Notes app, just push the microphone and start talking. Get in the habit, and then we'll figure out the next step. Because you can print those. You can print those easily. You can email them, you can text them. So you can write a letter to somebody in the Notes app and email it off to them. So I hope that's helpful.
Hi, thank you. You mentioned helping others, and I think the word service came up.
Yep.
And it is easy to live in Ajijic and not be as aware as you might be living outside of Ajijic of the tremendous needs in Mexico. And I just wonder if you might say a little bit about the benefits of service. I know even LCS is looking for volunteers, and there are organizations like Operation Feed and San Juan Cosla, and I wonder if you might say something about how service can benefit us as well as others. Thanks.
You know, the concept of altruism is that I do something not expecting a benefit back. I'm not sure I really believe that it exists. And here's why. Because when I do something for you, when I paint your garage, or when I bring a cake at the years you're sick, or I do something to help you, I end up feeling really good about me. My self-esteem goes up, which makes me a happier person. And when I'm driving down the road, I'm not quite so likely to have a little road rage. I tend to be a more giving person as a result of that. And so what I've found is that the more I do for others, the happier I become. So like you said, there's volunteer opportunities at LCS. There's certainly a ton of things that can be done with the dog rescues and the cat rescues and the children rescues all around us. But you don't even have to go that far. You could literally go to the Toastmasters. You practice English, they practice, or you practice Spanish, they practice English. I've been doing that with a friend, and what I found is that as I become better in my Spanish and they become better in their English, we are both feeling happier because we've accomplished something. So I think service is a really important part of leading a happy, full life. And if it's even something as simple as making sandwiches and handing them out to people who are hungry, do it. It's going to take you an hour and cost you $3. Big deal.
Okay, I think that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for a wonderful talk.
Thank you.
Thank you for your inspiration. You can go ahead and turn on your cell phones if you'd like to. Please stack your chairs, pick up your coffee cups, take your shawls, hats, baseball caps. But you can leave me things. I like shawls, so actually, leave your shawls. Look forward to seeing you next week.